So welcome to this episode of Diary of a Randonneur. It's going to be a short intro this time because of the rest of the video being kind of long. I think it's probably somewhat due to the fatigued adult ramblings of a cyclist who hadn't slept in 32 hours. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't go off on too many tangents and actually quite enjoy this one. So we leave Bristol at 10 PM from business as usual. We then head southwest through Bath, then on to the Moonrakers pub in the Visors for control point 1. We then swing round Salisbury Plain, heading through Amesbury Services for control point 2, through Salisbury, then continuing south to our only information control point for the day. We then head west through Bournemouth and Poole to the Lilliput Scout Hut for breakfast and control point 4. Turning northwest, we continue to Podymore Services for control point 5. Heading north, we've passed through Glastonbury. We then get on to the Strawberry Line, follow that to Yatton, to the Strawberry Line Cafe for control point 6, and then back to Bristol to the Felix Road Adventure Playground to finish. So here we are, we're on the road for the Moonrakers and Sunseekers 300k through the night extravaganza. Conditions are reasonable, it's not too cold, 5-6 degrees, something like that. Bit of rain, but nothing too bad really. Not even got the waterproof on yet. See how that goes. I had been hoping to do a little bit more of an intro at the start, but I was a bit pressed for time. Man, never get your camera out when you're going downhill, right? So just rolling into checkpoint 1, the Moonraker pub in the Visors. Conditions are in pretty damp, not too bad, but like just insipid. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh yeah.
You alright?
Yeah. And you?
Yeah, not so bad, cheers.
Good. Neil. Right.
Nice one, cheers.
Oh yeah.
So how we find the road so far, guys? Good. Not too cold, damp, but not too cold. So the roads haven't been too bad though, I don't think. I mean, it's been pretty quiet.
It's worse in Wales.
Yeah, these lads were on the Monmouth Meander last week. Yeah, they suffered with me as well. So that's control point 1 done. Just had a bit of a scare there. Kind of got about half a mile up the road and realised I'd left my brevet card behind. So yeah, pretty fortunate I remembered. Anyway, on to the next one, 30k to control point 2. So just stopped up at McDonald's, some kind of like service station for control point 2. I think this is the first McDonald's I've had in about 10 years. Reminded myself why that is. Hopefully be another 10 years before I get another one down there. Anyway, next control point is roughly 55k away, I think. All downhill to the coast now. Well, it's 20 to 4. This is kind of the time that traditionally for me has been about outrunning the sleep monster between 2 AM and 4 AM. Actually feeling really good in that, not feeling sleepy at all. It's just started raining again. Not sure if you can see that in the light there. 106k in. Spent a lot more time in controls than I normally would. I think I've been a little bit more conservative this time around compared to the 200s. Time just to get the head down now for a bit and knock out another 30k to get to the next control. So it's been probably about 3 years, 4 years maybe, since I've done a off-road ITT, and actually it's kind of interesting riding through the night here now, still drawing upon that experience. You know, tapping out a rhythm here on the road really ain't that much different to you know, tapping it out on a fire road somewhere. It's just riding along in your own little pool of light, your own little bubble, cruising through the night. We went past 135k, a little bit back there, information control point. So next one now is head down through Bournemouth onto Poole for the halfway point and breakfast. Quite looking forward to a reasonable stop there actually. I think it'd be sensible to take a bit of a breather, a stretch, might get my boots off. So feeling pretty good still actually. I guess this whole section of the ride for quite a while now has been pretty flat, if not a gradual downhill predominantly. Still not feeling sleepy at all, which is really good. Getting the nods is obviously not a pleasant thing. You know, waking up on the bike is yeah, kind of a scary thing sometimes. Anyway, onwards. So down at the front now, riding along the coast road. Something kind of romantic about riding to the sea, right? Riding as far as you can go. It is totally Baltic. Man, that breeze that's coming in off the sea is freezing. Man, my toes are starting to feel it. They've been fine the whole ride, like remarkably so. So just gonna cruise along here. I think it's about another 5k to go, something like that, to the Lilliput Scout hut at Poole. Just had breakfast at the Lilyfoot Scout hut down on the front pool. I have to say a massive thank you to all the volunteers who have given up their time to cook us breakfast and generally look after us for a bit while we're there. Nice one. We're on 150 odd K left to go. Got a bit of a blister forming on the back of my heel, on my Achilles. Bit weird, never had any issues at all with anything like that on my feet. Just cold toes, not got any cold toes today, so it had to be something else on my feet, right? Nice. Anyway, as you can probably see, sun's coming up now. So through the prime period for sleepies now, so I think it's going to be all alright. This sunrise has been totally beautiful. If you need any more reason to do an overnight ride of any type, just enjoy those sunrises. It's great as well, the second wind it gives you, it's like you coming back into the land of the living again. I think I've just had the best tasting banana that the world has ever known. Guess when they go like real cold and it's kind of not quite frozen solid, but it's sort of like a lolly, kinda. Man, that was good. Anyway, 203k done. Thanks, about another 25k to the next control. It's just about cracking on now, really. Trying to maintain an even pace. Not trying to do too much on the uphills. Right, so I've got to punch up. I was going to try and nurse it because I thought it was a slow one, but it turns out it wasn't that slow. Well, it just stopped for our fourth control, I guess. Another service station. Never has a Greg's roast chicken pasty tasted so good, honestly. So that was a real long stretch from pool to, I can't remember, wherever that was. It's about 72, 73k between control points, which is kind of quite a lot mentally, right? You need more milestones than that. Well, it helps anyway. Day is shaping up to be Really nice, it's really warmed up now. I think it's going to be quite a nice end to this ride. So I'm on the strawberry line now. I'm informed that this pretty much signifies the last, the sort of homeward straight. Kind of a gravel path at the moment. It's going to take a bit more effort than the road, of course. It's going to slow me down a little bit, but it'd be nice not to be having any more dodgy passes by cars. Last control is the Strawberry Line Cafe. Now this is actually pretty close to the end, and normally I just wouldn't bother stopping a control this close to the end. However, if I remember correctly, and there's no guarantee of that right now, this is actually a really worthwhile project that seeks to give, I think, most of the young people sort of job skills that they might not otherwise have a chance to get. So I think I'm going to stop for a coffee at least, and put some money in the kitty, so to speak. So just stopped up at the Strawberry Line Cafe for our last control point, had a few quick refreshments. Actually, a bag of crisps went down really well. I probably need the salt though. Anyway, 28k left to get back into Bristol. So yeah, really not long left now. Maybe an hour, around a bit if I don't mess about. Anyway, I'll catch you at Rive. Alright, so I'm here at Rive, all back, finished. I think it's like 17 hours and a bit, not sure. Yeah, on the whole, excellent route, really enjoyed it. I'm still feeling really pretty good actually, so it's quite surprising. But yeah, okay, I guess we'll finish this up here, and I'll record a roundup tomorrow with my reflections on how I feel the ride went, and what I learned and what I did right and what I did wrong. Alright, cheers, see you later. So I've had a few days to reflect on this ride, and what a great ride it was. Really enjoyed it. I was really pleased that my legs actually handled the 300k pretty well. I had one bad patch for about an hour where legs just kind of felt they didn't have much to give, but came through that, as I was kind of pretty sure I would at the time. And so yeah, it was nice to kind of push some distance boundaries again. After the last ride, I was asked for some stats. So the ride all in all was 308k, of which I did 314k. So yeah, there was a few routing issues on that was unfortunate. There were 2,300 meters of climbing, which I think over that distance we have to kind of really think that that was a fairly flat ride really. My official time was 17 hours 57 minutes, which included just under 4 hours of non-moving time, which I felt was actually pretty high for me personally. I did consciously take a conservative approach to control points, and I did have one puncture to have to sort out, but I was surprised it worked out at, you know, roughly 4 hours. I thought the route was excellent in terms of it being really smartly planned. The Bristol, Bath, Salisbury, Bournemouth pool section was actually on some quite main roads, which is great in terms of being able to sort of get a good pace up, and really tap out some distance, and because we were on those at quite late at night, the sort of 11 a.m. to 5 a.m. point in time, they were actually really quiet. So yeah, I thought that was quite smartly designed. Then Poole to back to Bristol was on much quieter roads, a lot of back lanes and such, when it was going to be busier. So excellent route planning, really enjoyed that aspect of it. There were a couple of kind of personal highlights for me. Near the beginning, there were a couple of kind of long, fairly straight climbs, and in the darkness at the bottom, when you were kind of looking up the hill, seeing this kind of flashing red snake disappearing up into the darkness was something I kind of enjoyed at the time. I'd never really experienced that before. The scene at McDonald's for the second control point was also pretty entertaining. I mean, I guess for any experienced randonneur, particularly a night rider, then it's probably a fairly typical scene. But I found it pretty entertaining walking into the McDonald's in the middle of nowhere, not being able to move for, high vis and cycle helmets. That was something that kind of made me smile at the time. And lastly, when I was looking at the route pre-ride, one of the things I was kind of like slightly disappointed about was I thought I'm going to ride all the way to Poole here and it's going to be dark when I get there and I'm not going to be able to actually see the sea. Thankfully though, when I came out of the Lilliput Scout hut after having breakfast, the sun was just rising, and it was really nice just doing that last few K along the front at Poole there, with the sun rising, seeing the sky changing colour and sort of looking back across the harbour. That was a really nice moment for me. Something else I wanted to talk about this ride was the atmosphere. It was just somehow far more tangible this time round compared to some of the other events I've done. So I've always found Audax events, friendly and full of camaraderie, and that's something that I've written about quite a lot in some of my written ride reports. But somehow on this event, it just felt greater. Now I find it difficult to kind of like put my finger on exactly what that is, but I wonder if the Audaxing is a kind of niche element, I think, of cycling anyway, and I think riding through the night in November is a even smaller sort of subset of that niche. And I think maybe it was kind of like, there's a group of people there all knowing you're out there doing something, kind of stupid really. And maybe somehow that kind of like brings people together in a kind of a slightly different way. I don't know, but it's something I certainly felt during the ride. I also found myself riding with a lot more people than I ever normally would. I'm not an immensely social bike rider, which often means I do a lot of riding on my own. Now that's absolutely fine, that's what I enjoy generally speaking. But this time around, I certainly ended up riding with a lot more people across the entire length of the route. Now I think part of that might have been to do with the types of controls. They ended up kind of funneling the riders quite a lot, which I actually quite like. I like the fact that you can sit down somewhere and have something to eat and always have someone to chat to who's on the ride. That for me is actually kind of quite an important part of it. Like, it's part of the thing that I think really makes the difference between just going out and doing a long ride on your own and actually doing an event. Lastly, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody who was involved in this, from everyone who had anything to do with route planning and checking out the route previously. Will as the main organiser, the Moonrakers pub for staying open late, everybody who manned controls. A special thank you, I think, really to those who cooked us breakfast and really looked after us at the Lilliput Scout hut. That was such an unreasonable time of day to be volunteering your time. Massive effort from you guys. Thank you very much. This will certainly be going down as a classic ride for me personally, and honestly I can't wait to get signed up for next year's.